Hi, did you know that it's been almost 5 years since the release of Geometry Dash 2.1?
What am I doing with my life?
Well, to take my mind off this terrifying fact, I decided that today we could have a look at the reason this game hasn't died yet. Geometry Dash truly is an endless game. As long as creators are pumping out levels, people are going to play them and YouTubers are going to milk them. It's the same reason why games like Mario Maker and Roblox are so popular. They're just run by the community. The thing is, you can't play every level in the game. Sure, you have the 21 official levels as well as the spin-off games, but when it comes to community levels, you can't expect hundreds of millions of people to play your level just because the game is that popular. For a custom level to become popular, everyone in the community has to be talking about it. As of right now, it can be very hard to make a level stand out, but every now and then a new Extreme Demon or Joke level will be all you hear about online. When I think of popular Geometry Dash levels, I think of the ones that revolutionize the game in some way, or just have a really good reason to be admired. Levels like Sonic Wave, or Tartarus, or Master Game, or VSC. But that begs the question, what the hell is Acid Factory? This here is Geometry Dash's most downloaded tab. It's less of a place to find high quality levels, and more of a leaderboard for the ones that lucked out and got pushed to the top for whatever reason. There's nothing wrong with adding a button to show the most popular levels in the game, but it just sucks that the list doesn't change much, because whenever a level's permanently front paged here, it's only going to get even more downloads. But surely every level here blew up for a reason, and if they have this many downloads, they're probably pretty good. Probably. But with that being said, let's play through the most downloaded levels in Geometry Dash and see how well they hold up after over 8 years of the game existing. First up at the very top of the list is Sonar by Jerkrat and Mindsap. This level currently stands at over 57 million downloads, which is about a sixth of the entire population of America. If it's not already obvious, the popularity of this level comes from the fact that it's the first level of the first map pack. Map packs are going to be a bit of a reoccurring theme in this list, but this one in particular is quite interesting as the alpha pack was added a lot later than most other map packs. And it definitely shows since it's one of the few packs that isn't absolute garbage. The level was released in 2015 and is overall a pretty straightforward 2-star level. It gives heavy Stereo Madness vibes in the sense that you have a lot of room to jump around and play with the controls, but also keeps things interesting by throwing in jump rings as well as a few different game modes. This was back when 2-star levels still had a bit of difficulty in them, and honestly I miss this era a lot because nowadays to get a star rating that low you have to pretty much make the whole level play itself.
Keyboard's not even plugged in.
Overall, Sonar's a pretty good level. The gameplay's forgiving but still really enjoyable, and the decoration still looks really good to this day. Now how well does it hold up against OuterSpace? This one was released in late update 2.0, and it's the second most downloaded level by a mere 2 million downloads, which is still more downloads than Zodiac, think about that. OuterSpace is the first level of the first gauntlet, the Fire Gauntlet. This was enough for the level to explode in popularity, as well as reveal that only about 20% of players made it to the next level. The level is actually quite good, but the creator said it's probably one of his worst ones, so I guess that means it's garbage. Anyways, it's got everything you'd expect from a 2.0 level. There's a parallax scrolling background at the start, some moving objects for no reason other than to be gimmicky, and a very simple boss section towards the end. It's honestly surprisingly fun to play, and as angry as this might make modern creators, the visuals are pretty good. It's a nice introduction to gauntlets, but it has about as much fire as I have brain cells. Also, this coin is stupid. The third most downloaded level is Level Easy, and when the ID is only 1200, you know you're in for a spicy one. This level was made by Cody, one of the OG Geometry Dash players. There weren't many people playing the game when map packs were first released, which is why pretty much every level seems to come from either him or Zenthic or Neptune or Darnok. Level Easy is the first level of the beginner pack, which prior to update 2.0 was the first map pack in the game. There's no easy way to tell what update the level was built in, but based on the ID and the objects it uses, it very likely dates all the way back to 1.0. While the level isn't very good by today's standards, it still has plenty of charm and overall isn't that bad. Even when the editor had pretty much nothing back then, Cody still found ways to play around with the block design and keep things somewhat fresh. The gameplay doesn't stray too far from something you'd seen in an early official level, but that also means it's a good level for new players to try since they're not used to levels with fancy decorations yet. Although I agree that map packs aren't that great and the fact that you have to beat them for coins is miserable, I still think it's nice to encourage playing a few old levels to get a feel for what things used to be like and to appreciate just how far the game's community has come. The Nightmare, on the other hand, is garbage. Look, I get it, no one really knew how to make good hard levels back then, and ultimately Jax was just kind of experimenting with making something tough for a change. But tell me, do people really find this fun? The Nightmare is currently the most popular demon level, and the 4th most downloaded level of all time. It was uploaded in 1.2 before demons were a thing, but received a significant visual overhaul in 1.7, which is what most people are familiar with. While this level isn't a map pack, it's tucked all the way back in Demon Pack 3, so that's not exactly the best explanation for its popularity. Rather, this level's known for being one of the easiest demon levels in the game, which is why so many players are open to giving it a try. Nowadays it would stand at about 7 or 8 stars, but it's hard to say for sure since it's a bit of a mess. It sets an absolutely terrible impression for demon levels, but hey, you gotta start somewhere. My problem with the Nightmare is that the gameplay just sucks. It's extremely bland and repetitive, and a lot of parts feel so rushed with very little thought put into them. In the ball parts, you just go up and down. In the ship parts, you just go up and down. In the queue parts, you just jump and fall without much else going on. Also, the visuals look awful. There's no set-in-stone decoration style. It constantly switches designs throughout the level. The usage of invisible blocks feels really forced. And there's also some parts where the colors don't go well together in the slightest. Here's a color wheel. Here's how it works. Study up. Also, why does Jack slide his name into the level in the most annoying way possible? It just comes off as really arrogant. Like, could you imagine if I obnoxiously flashed my name everywhere even for things that were mediocre at best? The 5th most popular level is ReTraY. Sure. While all the levels in this list are obviously super well known, ReTraY in particular is extremely memorable because of its unique retro style. Not to mention, it's by far the most liked level in the game, which means that it's the first result if you just click the search button without any filters. Just like Sonar, this level found its way into the alpha pack in 2.0, so it's no surprise that it blew up. It was made by Dimaviculove26, who was an extremely talented creator back in 1.9 and probably one of my favorites. He made some incredible levels back in the day and pushed the 4-color channel limit to the absolute extreme. While he released ReTraY in 1.9 like most of his levels, it's sort of become a tradition for it to receive major visual changes every time a new update comes out. As of right now, there's all sorts of 2.1 stuff scattered around, like this click counter in the wave part. It's extremely pointless, but it's sort of a tradition now, so I don't even care anymore. I actually remember playing the original first version of the level, but I couldn't find any videos of it when I looked around. Luckily I found an old copyable, so I put together a comparison video on my second channel if you're interested. Anyways, the gameplay in this level isn't too special, and it's an absolute cakewalk. But I think people just like the level because of the visuals and the overall vibe it gives off. Since the level's so easy, you have a lot more time to focus on all the cool designs and effects scattered around. The level almost feels like a showcase of artistic skills rather than an actual attempt to make a proper level. But you know what? That's okay. It looks cool, and a lot of new players really like it. So yeah, ReTray's a decent level. Could have been a lot worse. Not as bad as Generation Retro. At spot number 6, with 43 million downloads as of right now, is Promises. It's a fairly solid level made in Update 2.0, with decent gameplay and lovely aesthetics. Despite being only 2 stars, the gameplay is actually really enjoyable and always keeps you looking ahead as a good level should do. But here's the catch. This level isn't in any map packs or gauntlets, and unlike the Nightmare, it's not like people are going out of their way to beat it for a special award or achievement. Unless they really need 50 mana orbs for a quest or something. I also checked Geometry Dash World to be safe, but it doesn't seem to be listed there either, including during the popularity spike when the game first came out. So I genuinely have no idea what caused this level to blow up, but once any level gets high enough on the most downloaded list, it's bound to stay there for a long time. Once again, it's a really lovely level, and I like how it feels both calm and alive at the same time. My only real nitpick with this level is that this coin scares the absolute hell out of me every time I get it. Next up is Dreamland. This level, has objects. It was made by Scanbrooks in Update 1.4 and directly follows Level Easy in the beginner map pack. If you take a look at the comments, it's pretty obvious that a lot of people don't like this one, but I actually disagree. I wouldn't say that it deserves to be the 7th most downloaded level in the game, but robtop handpicked this one to be in the beginner pack, so it was kind of rigged from the start. From the first few seconds of the level, it becomes very clear that this level is heavily inspired by Back on Track. It actually feels like a direct hard mode of the level, with familiar gameplay but much trickier sections. While this level's infamous for having messy gameplay with a lot of fake outs, I also kind of envy the fact that lots of parts are really clever. Dreamland isn't actually that bad of a level, it's just so different from the kind of gameplay everyone is used to. For all I know, I could be crazy, but I quite like having to look ahead and process every jump pad to make sure it's safe to hit. You really have to stay on your toes and think quickly with this level, but the gameplay never gets overly annoying. Sure, there's plenty of tricks, but nothing feels overdone or unfair, especially if you're paying attention. You remember Dark Paradise? I sure as hell didn't. But it's the 2nd level of the Alpha Pack, as well as the 8th most downloaded level in the game. Similar to the other Alpha Pack levels, it's a 2-star level made in Update 1.9, then tweaked a bit in 2.0 to add coins and some other small improvements. I've always felt like the Alpha Pack levels actually go from hardest to easiest, and difficulty-wise, Dark Paradise is a pretty good balance between Sonar and ReTraY. The gameplay is very straightforward and readable, but there's still enough input required for it to pass as a 3-star level nowadays. The coins are surprisingly well placed in this one, and they're done in a way which getting them requires more thinking than actual skill, which is a good way of doing it for a 2-star level. My biggest issue with this level is the fact that from 40% onwards, it just gets really boring. There's a straight ship part, followed by a UFO part with no obstacles, then it's just a very simple wave for the rest of the level. Dark Paradise isn't terrible by any means, it just feels like any 2-star level could have taken its place in the map pack. It's still a very well made level, it's just forgettable, and I think it's because while the decoration is very polished and all the gameplay is readable, it blends in with a lot of other 1.9 levels. I still really like the constant color changes and the fact that the background always has something interesting going on, but there's nothing I like in this level that doesn't show up in many others as well. Coming up at 9th, we have Acid Factory, which is the first level of the Poison Gauntlet. I have no idea why more people played this one over the Ice Gauntlet, but if I had to guess, it's probably because they saw a 5-star level and got scared away or something. Now, unlike OuterSpace, which doesn't follow the fire theme at all, this one kind of slaps. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a perfect level, but it does stick to this dark poisonous factory theme throughout the whole level and really explores it a lot. It almost feels like it's telling a creepy story, I love it. The level was made in Update 2.0, which in itself is already enough to justify it being one of the best levels in this list, but it also goes above and beyond with its really unique gameplay and style. That's not to say it doesn't have any flaws though. For example, although the size changes in this ship part sync with the music, it comes off as really annoying and unpredictable. You've also got this part towards the end where you're constantly getting thrusted forward with speed portals, and though it's pretty easy to sight read, I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I think my biggest issue with Acid Factory is just that it can be really hard to see, especially for mobile players who always have their phone on low brightness for whatever reason. This UFO part in particular confused me a lot, and it wasn't until I turned hitboxes on that I realized how straightforward it's supposed to be. Oh, also I'm scared to imagine how many people picked up this LDM flask at the start because they didn't know what it meant and thought it just gave them a coin. Well, that's 9 of the 10 most downloaded levels in Geometry Dash. While it's hard to say if some of these levels deserve being up there, you can't deny that it's a great display of the game's history, and it's cool to see just how amazing people have gotten with the editor. If only there was some sort of culmination of all the skills people developed over time, taking both gameplay and decoration into consideration. Yep, the 10th and final level here is none other than Bloodbath, one of, if not the most iconic extreme demons in the game. While there's way harder ones now, Bloodbath will always be that one level that everybody knows. It's obviously not any map packs or gauntlets, rather the popularity just comes from how well known of a level it is in the community, even to this day. To get a feel for the level, I've ran through it in practice mode as well as half speed, and let me tell you, you'll never realize just how hard this level is until you actually try it yourself. I ended up finishing with about 470 practice attempts, and by the end I could barely believe that there are human beings that can make it through this entire thing at normal speed without a single mistake. And it's not even in the top 150 demons anymore! Bloodbath was verified by Riot and released in late 1.9 as a sort of successor to the previous hardest level, Cataclysm. Both levels follow the same red hellish theme, and Bloodbath even picks up exactly where Cataclysm's song finishes. This would go on and inspire lots of future demons to adopt the same visual style, as well as spark several sequels and remakes of the level, most notably Bloodlust. What makes this level so special is that since there was no official demon list back in 1.9, this was the first time that pretty much everyone in the community collectively agreed that it was the hardest level in the game. And this is really significant because it was during a time where if a level looked hard on YouTube, everyone considered it to be one of the hardest levels in the world. Some of the most notable impossible demons in 1.9 included Cataclysm, 9 Circles, Windy Landscape, Supersonic, ICDX, Theory of Skrillex, Ultimate Phase, or even Decode just because of that one wave part. Tell me, at 100% speed, does this look possible to you? Basically, if Alex Payne said the level was hard, it was freaking hard. It's worth mentioning that Sonic Wave also existed around this time, but people were a bit skeptical to rank it above Bloodbath because it was widely speculated to be hacked to verify. You'll never guess what happened next. The level itself is exactly what you'd expect from an extreme demon. It's a massive gauntlet of tight sections that challenge your skills in pretty much every game mode. It begins with a very iconic straight fly that almost serves as a way to weed out the bad players such as myself. Most people can make it through the beginning of Cataclysm at the very least, but this time you're plunged right into the deep end. The nice part about Bloodbath being a 1.9 level is that it's very easy to make out the gameplay, and the path forward is generally pretty clear, aside from a few small fakeouts at the very end. It's split into multiple sections, each designed by a different creator, but it all flows together quite nicely and every part has something memorable about it. You've got Crack's ridiculous looking ship part, Michigan's slow but extremely tight section, G-Boy's suddenly bright ball part at the very end, and of course the infamous 79% at the end of Etzer's territory. Whether you're good enough to run through the level like it's nothing or struggle to pass the first straight fly, you really can't deny that Bloodbath is a masterpiece and a true staple of the Geometry Dash community. Then Mannix was like, you know what this needs? More pentagrams. Well, there you have it, my thoughts and opinions on the top 10 most downloaded levels in Geometry Dash. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are the nightmare. It's worth mentioning that this is just the first page of the most downloaded list, and there's lots of other popular levels floating around like Auto Play Area, Lightning Road, Through Time, 9 Circles, End of Line, all of Doorbay's levels, and that's just to name a few. But at the end of the day, the most downloaded list was never meant to be a collection of the best levels in the game. Sure, you could argue that some of them deserve the spot, but ultimately most levels just wind up here because RobTop put them in a place where the vast majority of players are going to see it. Most of these levels are probably going to stay here forever, so I propose that maybe in a future update, the most downloaded and most liked list should be limited to levels uploaded in the past year or something. That's not to say you shouldn't be able to see the all-time list, I just think it's a huge missed opportunity to change things up and spotlight more new and recent levels. Be sure to let me know what you think about all of this, whether it's if you think these levels deserve their popularity, or if you just want to yell at me for saying Dreamland is good. And remember that a level doesn't need to be in a map pack or gauntlet in order to get tens of millions of downloads. I mean, there's lots of random epic levels just a few pages back, as well as many well-known extreme demons. It's perfectly natural for things to suddenly blow up in popularity even if they don't actually deserve it. It's something you see all over the internet, really. Juniper uploaded a single click and it got 5 million views, never lose hope.